The breaking point, Earth burned. Not in the literal sense, though the Meridian Alliance would have preferred that outcome. Instead, humanity smoldered under the boot of alien occupation. Our once proud cities transformed into fortified zones where the conquerors watched from their floating citadels. Sarah Chen watched from the shadows of old Manhattan's underground as another patrol of Meridian peacekeepers swept through the streets above. Their crystalline armor reflected the harsh spotlights that perpetually scanned the ruins, searching for any sign of resistance. The aliens stood 3 meters tall, their 4-armed bodies wrapped in technology that made human weapons seem like children's toys. But Sarah knew better. She'd spent the last 5 years as part of the resistance, running messages between cells when electronic communications would give them away. At 16, she was one of the best, small enough to slip through maintenance shafts, smart enough to avoid patrols, and brave enough to carry the hope of humanity in her memory. Tonight's message was different. Dr. Marcus Kane, one of the last surviving members of Earth's pre-invasion military science division, had requested an emergency meeting with resistance leadership. Sarah had memorized the coordinates and destroyed the physical note, as always. But she'd seen the look in Kane's eyes, a mixture of fear and desperate hope that made her skin crawl. The patrol passed overhead, and Sarah began to move. She navigated the labyrinth of abandoned subway tunnels and maintenance corridors with practiced ease, her footsteps silent on the debris-strewn floor. The meeting point was in the ruins of what had once been Columbia University, now a blasted shell that the Meridians considered too unstable to garrison. She was halfway there when the screaming started. A new patrol, one she hadn't spotted, had descended into the tunnels. Their energy weapons painted the darkness with deadly purple light as they fired at running figures ahead of her. Sarah recognized them, a family that had been hiding in the tunnels, parents trying to protect their children from Meridian re-education programs. Without thinking, Sarah broke from her cover and ran toward them. "This way," she hissed, gesturing toward a maintenance shaft she knew led to a safe zone. The family turned toward her voice, hope breaking through their terror. That's when the Meridian commander made his decision. Later, resistance analysts would conclude he was newly posted, eager to prove himself by following containment protocols to the letter. His order came in the clicking, crystalline language of the invaders, but its meaning became horrifyingly clear as his squad opened fire. The family vanished in a storm of purple fire. Sarah screamed, the sound ripped from her throat by rage and horror. The noise drew the Meridians' attention, their faceted eyes turning toward her position. She ran, not towards safety but deeper into the university ruins. If she could draw them away from the area, Dr. Kane's meeting might still happen. Purple bolts of energy sizzled past her as she ran, her lungs burning with exertion. She knew these ruins better than they did, using fallen debris and collapsed walls to break their line of sight. But she was human, and they were enhanced by their combat suits. It was only a matter of time. The bolt that caught her didn't hurt, not really. There was just a sudden numbness in her legs, then nothing at all as she fell. Sarah realized she had led them to the old physics building, exactly where Dr. Kane's meeting was supposed to take place. She smiled grimly as she heard the Meridian troops approaching. At least she hadn't broken under questioning. At least she had died protecting the mission. But Sarah Chen's death would not be in vain. High above, in a hidden observation post, Dr. Marcus Kane watched through augmented binoculars as a Meridian patrol executed a teenage girl whose only crime was helping others. His hands shook as he lowered the binoculars, rage and determination warring in his aged features. "They forced our hand," he whispered to his companion, a resistance colonel named Maya Rodriguez. "We have to wake them. God help us all, we have to wake the Guardians." Maya's face hardened as she watched the Meridians depart, leaving Sarah's body in the ruins like so much discarded waste. The stasis chambers haven't been tested in decades. We don't even know if they survived the invasion. They survived. Kane's voice held absolute certainty. They're humanity's greatest achievement. soldiers enhanced not just physically but mentally, emotionally. Perfect warriors who never lost their humanity. And now, he gestured at Sara's body below. Now we have no choice. The Meridians think they've broken us, that we're just vermin to be exterminated or enslaved. It's time to show them how wrong they are. Maya nodded slowly. I'll call the council. But Kane, if we do this, if we wake the Guardians, there's no going back. The Meridians will respond with everything they have. Kane's smile was terrible to behold. Good, because this time, humanity will respond with everything we have. And God help them when the Guardians learn what they've done to our world. As night fell over the ruins of old Manhattan, Sara Chen's death became more than a tragedy. It became the spark that would ignite humanity's resurrection, and the Meridian Alliance was about to learn why you should never, ever back humans into a corner. They were about to learn the true meaning of resistance. Warriors of yesterday. 3 kilometers beneath the ruins of the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Marcus Kane stood before a massive steel door that hadn't been opened in 30 years. The facility around him hummed with emergency power, ancient systems awakening after decades of dormancy. Behind him, Colonel Maya Rodriguez and her security team swept the corridors, ensuring no Meridian detection systems had noticed that activation of the complex. Life support is stable, Kane announced, his fingers dancing across a holographic interface. Stasis chamber integrity at 97%, better than we could have hoped for. Maya approached, her scarred face reflected in the polished steel. How many survived? All of them. Kane's voice cracked with emotion. All 12 Guardians. The Empire's bombardment never penetrated this deep. They've been sleeping, waiting, while the world burned above them. The massive door began to slide open, revealing a chamber bathed in soft blue light. 12 crystalline pods stood in a circle, each containing a figure suspended in quantum stasis. Kane moved to the central control panel, his movements precise despite his trembling hands. Beginning revival sequence, he announced. Guardian Prime first. The others will follow in sequence. The first pod's crystal surface began to dissolve, revealing the figure within. Commander James Chen had been 40 when he entered stasis, his body enhanced by nanotechnology and genetic engineering to the absolute peak of human potential. As the stasis field faded, his eyes snapped open, eyes that now held a subtle metallic sheen. Doctor. Chen's voice was rough from disuse, but still carried the authority that had made him legendary. How long? 30 years, Commander. Earth has fallen. Chen stepped from the pod, his movements fluid despite his long sleep. His gaze swept the room, taking in Maya's resistance uniform, the signs of age on Kane's face. The Meridian invasion succeeded. Yes, we've been under occupation for 15 years. The surface nations are gone, replaced by their administrative sectors. Humanity is classified as a servitor race, fit only for manual labor, and Kane's voice broke. They're taking our children, James, re-educating them to serve the Alliance. Those who resist, they die, Maya finished, like Sara Chen did yesterday, like millions of others have. Chen's expression didn't change, but the temperature in the room seemed to drop. Sara, my granddaughter. She was resistance, a messenger, brave until the end. Maya met his gaze steadily. Her death is why we're here, why we had to wake you. Around them, the other pods began to dissolve. 11 more figures emerged, each unique in their enhancements but united in their purpose. Sandra Wells, whose neural interfaces made her the greatest hacker humanity had ever produced. Marcus Jones, whose enhanced muscles and reinforced skeleton let him go hand-to-hand with powered armor. Elena Petrova, whose modified nervous system gave her reaction times that seemed to bend time itself. They were the Guardians, the pinnacle of human military science. Not just soldiers, but symbols of what humanity could achieve. And now, they were all that stood between humanity and extinction. Chen watched his team orient themselves, his enhanced mind already formulating strategies. Brief us, everything. Leave nothing out. For the next hour, Kane and Maya explained the situation. The Meridian occupation, the resistance networks, the systematic destruction of human culture and independence. The Guardians listened in silence, their enhanced minds processing and analyzing every detail. They think they've won, Chen said finally. They think humanity is beaten, broken, ready to accept our place as slaves. Yes, Maya confirmed. That's why they're getting careless. Why Sarah was able to operate as long as she did. They don't expect real resistance anymore. Chen smiled, and there was nothing human in that expression. Then we'll show them what real resistance looks like. Dr. Kane is the armory intact. Everything. Powered armor, phase weapons, tactical systems, all upgraded and waiting. The maintenance AIs kept everything in perfect condition. Good, because we're not just going to fight the Meridians. Chen's voice carried absolute conviction. We're going to break them. Show them why humanity survived ice ages and plagues, and our own worst impulses. Show them why you never, ever corner a species that climbed to the top of the food chain by outlasting everything that tried to kill it. The Guardians moved with purpose now, each heading to their designated armory sections. The facility came fully alive, lights blazing as ancient weapons were prepared for war. First target, Maya asked. Their primary re-education facility in Old Manhattan, Chen replied instantly. We'll hit it at dawn when their guard shifts change. Not just destroy it, liberate it. Show humanity that resistance is possible. Show the Meridians that their slaves are becoming warriors again. They'll respond with everything they have, Kane warned. Good. Chen's enhanced eyes gleamed. Because this isn't just about victory. This is about justice. For Sarah, for every human they've killed or enslaved. We're going to remind them why their ancestors warned them about Earth, why they needed overwhelming force to conquer us. He turned to address his fellow Guardians, his voice carrying the weight of command that had made him legendary. We are humanity's last line of defense. We are what stands between extinction and survival, and we will show these aliens why humanity has survived every catastrophe in our history. The next 12 hours were a blur of preparation. The Guardians underwent rapid medical checks, their enhanced bodies accepting 30 years of medical and technological upgrades in hours instead of days. Weapons were distributed, battle plans formulated, and resistance networks contacted. As dawn approached, 12 figures stood in powered armor at the facility's exit, ready to return to a world they barely recognized. Chen looked at his team, the best humanity had ever produced, enhanced to fight wars they'd never gotten to fight, now awakening to face humanity's greatest challenge. For Sarah, he said simply, for Earth. The response came in unison, 12 voices speaking with one purpose, for Earth. As they emerged into the pre-dawn darkness, their enhanced senses already mapping patrol routes and defense systems, Chen allowed himself a moment of grief for the granddaughter he'd never known. Then he locked that grief away, transforming it into purpose. The Meridians had forgotten what humanity was capable of. They'd forgotten that humans didn't just survive. They adapted, learned, and came back stronger. They'd forgotten that every time humanity faced extinction, they responded by becoming more than they were. It was time to remind them. High above, the first hints of dawn touched the mountains. In Old Manhattan, Meridian patrol ships moved in their precise patterns, their crews confident in their absolute control. In hidden bunkers and secret rooms, resistance fighters waited for the signal they'd been promised. Humanity's last line was about to be drawn. And God help anyone who tried to cross it. Ghost Protocol. The Meridian Re-Education Facility loomed over Old Manhattan like a twisted cathedral, its crystalline spires pulsing with alien energy. Inside, thousands of human children were being systematically stripped of their identity, transformed into perfect servants of the Alliance. Outside, dawn painted the sky in shades of purple and red, a sight completely ignored by the facility's automated defenses. Those defenses were about to meet something they'd never been programmed to handle. Phase 1 initiated, Sandra Wells whispered into the tactical net, her neural interfaces dancing through the facility's security systems. They don't even know we're here. Commander Chen watched through enhanced vision as his team moved into position. Marcus Jones and Elena Petrova had already infiltrated the lower levels, their enhanced bodies allowing them to slip through maintenance shafts designed for robotic drones. The remaining Guardians were spread across strategic points, ready to strike the moment the signal was given. Remember, Chen's voice was cold in their tactical link. This isn't just about freeing the children. This is about showing humanity what resistance looks like, showing the Meridians what fear feels like. The response came in silence, 12 status lights turning green in his enhanced vision. The Guardians were ready. Execute. The first indication the Meridians had that something was wrong came when their automated systems suddenly started speaking in human voices, thousands of them, crying out in pain and fear. Sandra's hack turned their own surveillance network against them, flooding every speaker with the sounds of their victims. Meridian guards rushed to their stations, their crystalline armor glinting in the early light. That's when Marcus and Elena struck from below. Their enhanced bodies moved faster than the alien eye could track, phase weapons cutting through supposedly impenetrable armor like paper. Before the first alarm could sound, the facility's lower security hub was silent. Security is blind in sectors 1 through 4, Sandra reported, her consciousness spread across multiple systems, releasing primary locks. Now, throughout the facility, doors began opening. Children who had been imprisoned for re-education found their cells unlocked, their restraints deactivated, and in those open doors stood resistance fighters, led by Maya Rodriguez, ready to guide them to safety through pre-planned evacuation routes. That's when the Meridians realized they were under attack. Alert sirens wailed as armored response teams poured from their barracks. They were met by precisely placed Guardian teams, each enhanced soldier worth a dozen of their alien counterparts. Chen watched it all through tactical feeds, his enhanced mind processing multiple data streams simultaneously. Phase 2, he ordered. Show them what we can do. The Guardians' powered armor had been specifically designed to counter Meridian technology. As alien energy weapons filled the air with purple fire, human phase shields absorbed and redirected the energy. Return fire from Guardian weapons didn't just damage Meridian armor, it shattered it. The aliens' own crystalline technology turned against them. They're calling for orbital support, Sandra reported, her voice distant as she fought electronic battles across multiple systems. Trying to block it, but... Let them call, Chen ordered. Time for Phase 3. High above the facility, hidden in the clouds, Dr. Kane waited in a stolen Meridian shuttle. At Chen's signal, he activated the device they'd spent the last 12 hours preparing. A pulse of concentrated electromagnetic energy swept across the battlefield, specifically tuned to the frequency of Meridian communications technology. The effect was immediate and devastating. Meridian armor locked up, their neural interfaces overloaded by the pulse. Command and control systems crashed, leaving their troops isolated and confused. And most importantly, their orbital weapons platforms went blind, unable to lock onto targets through the electromagnetic interference. All teams, execute Phase 4, Chen ordered. Show them what humanity does to those who harm our children. The Guardians moved with terrible purpose, their enhanced bodies and advanced weapons cutting through Meridian defenses like a scythe through wheat. But they weren't just fighting, they were sending a message. Every movement was recorded, every victory broadcast across hijacked Meridian frequencies. Throughout Old Manhattan, hidden screens and salvage devices showed the battle. Humans watched in stunned silence as their invincible oppressors fell before warriors they thought were legends. Hope, that most dangerous of emotions, began to spread. In the facility's central control room, Chen faced down the Meridian commander, a four-armed giant whose crystalline armor bore the marks of high rank. "You're making a mistake," the alien's translator squawked. "The Alliance cannot be defeated. We are eternal." "No," Chen replied, his enhanced voice carrying across all frequencies. You're just the latest empire to think you could break humanity. To think you could enslave us, transform us, make us less than we are. His phase blade hummed to life. But that's the thing about humans. We don't break. We adapt. We evolve. We become something new. The battle that followed lasted less than 30 seconds. The Meridian commander's enhanced strength and advanced armor meant nothing against a warrior specifically designed to counter such advantages. When it was over, Chen stood over his fallen opponent, broadcasting on all frequencies. To the Meridian Alliance, consider this a message. Humanity is not beaten. We are not broken. Every child you've taken, every life you've destroyed, will be avenged. We are the Guardians, humanity's last line of defense, and we're awake now. Run. Throughout the facility, the remaining Meridian forces did exactly that, fleeing before enemies their combat computers couldn't fully analyze. Within an hour, the last children were evacuated, guided to safety through underground networks the Resistance had spent years preparing. Maya found Chen in the facility's central plaza, watching as Resistance fighters planted demolition charges. That was something else, she said quietly. But they'll be back, with everything they have. Good. Chen's enhanced eyes tracked movement in the distance, Meridian reinforcements already mobilizing. Because this was just the beginning. Now they know we can hurt them. Now they know we can fight back. And most importantly, he smiled, and there was nothing human in that expression. Now they know what fear feels like. The facility's destruction was visible across old Manhattan, its crystalline spires collapsing in a carefully controlled demolition that damaged nothing else. As the dust settled, Resistance communications reported the same thing everywhere. Humans gathering in the streets, watching the ruins, whispering one word: hope. In hidden bunkers and secret rooms, the Guardians prepared for their next strike. The Meridians would respond with overwhelming force, throwing everything they had at these newly awakened warriors. But that was exactly what Chen was counting on. Because every time they fought, more humans would see it was possible to resist. Every victory would inspire more to join the fight. And most importantly, every Meridian defeat would remind them of one crucial fact. They weren't fighting soldiers anymore. They were fighting humanity's response to extinction. They were fighting the distilled essence of human defiance, enhanced by science and driven by righteous fury. They were fighting Guardians. And the Guardians were just getting started. The hidden army, the underground command center beneath old Detroit pulsed with activity. 3 weeks had passed since the liberation of the Manhattan Re-Education Facility, and humanity's response had exceeded even the Guardians' expectations. What began as isolated resistance cells had evolved into a coordinated global network, all inspired by the sight of enhanced warriors striking back against their oppressors. Sandra Wells' neural interfaces danced through incoming data streams, her enhanced mind processing information faster than any computer. Another successful strike in Beijing. The resistance there freed 200 prisoners from a labor camp, minimal casualties. Commander Chen studied the holographic map dominating the center of the room, watching as another section lit up with human activity. The Meridians are falling into our trap. They're spreading their forces thin, trying to maintain control everywhere at once. Dr. Kane entered the command center, his aged face showing both exhaustion and excitement. The first batch of enhancement procedures was successful. 20 resistance fighters now have basic combat augmentations. Not Guardian level, but enough to make a difference. This was the true genius of Chen's strategy. While the Guardians struck high-profile targets, drawing Meridian attention and resources, Kane and his team were quietly enhancing key resistance members with simplified versions of Guardian technology. Each enhanced fighter could train others in their new capabilities, creating a force multiplier that grew exponentially. How are they adapting to the changes? Elena Petrova asked, her own enhanced systems monitoring the medical data. Better than expected, Kane replied. We're seeing a 97% acceptance rate. The human body seems more capable of accepting these modifications than our original models suggested. It's as if he paused, considering. It's as if humanity was waiting for this opportunity to evolve. Chen nodded, unsurprised. We've always adapted to survive. The Meridians gave us the ultimate motivation to change, survive or face extinction. They never understood what that meant. A priority alert flashed across their tactical displays. Maya Rodriguez's voice crackled through their secure channel. Guardian Command, we have a situation in Europe. The Meridians are deploying something new, something big. The holographic display shifted, showing massive crystalline structures rising from Meridian bases across the continent. Each structure pulsed with alien energy, creating patterns that made human observers feel uncomfortable just looking at them. Analysis? Chen demanded. Sandra's neural interfaces probed the data. There's some kind of psychic amplifiers. The Meridians are trying to tap into their latent telepathic abilities on a massive scale. If they succeed, they could locate every resistance cell on the continent, Kang finished. Maybe worldwide. We'd lose everything. Chen's enhanced eyes studied the structures, his tactical systems already formulating counter-strategies. No, we're not losing anything. This is our opportunity to show them something else about humanity, our ability to turn an enemy's strength against them. He turned to Sandra. How long until those amplifiers are fully operational? 48 hours, maximum. They're already affecting sensitive individuals within their range. Then we have 47 hours to prepare our response. Chen's voice carried absolute certainty. Contact all European cells. Tell them to go dark, minimum communications only. Sandra, I need you and Kane to modify our neural dampeners. If they want to fight a psychic war, we'll show them why humanity's greatest strength has always been our minds. The next 2 days were a blur of activity. While most resistance cells went into hiding, the Guardians and their newly enhanced allies prepared for their boldest strike yet. Kane's modifications to their neural technology weren't just defensive, they would allow humanity to hijack the Meridian's own psychic network. Remember, Chen briefed the strike teams, this isn't just about destroying their new weapons. This is about showing them that everything they try to use against us, we can adapt to. Everything they think makes them superior, we can turn to our advantage. The attack began precisely 47 hours after the first amplifier was detected. As Meridian technicians prepared to activate their network, synchronized strikes hit every facility simultaneously. But this time, the Guardians weren't just using physical weapons. Sandra, her consciousness spread across multiple systems, led the psychic counterattack. The modified neural dampeners didn't just block the Meridian telepathic network, they fed it back on itself, creating a feedback loop of terror and confusion. Alien minds, unused to resistance, reeled under the assault. In Paris, Marcus Jones led a team of enhanced resistance fighters in a direct assault on the largest amplifier. Their movements were perfectly coordinated, each fighter's enhanced abilities complementing the others. Meridian defenders found themselves facing humans who could match their strength, predict their movements, and counter their every advantage. Status report, Chen demanded, monitoring the battles from command. Paris facility is down, Marcus reported. Resistance casualties minimal. These new enhancements are working better than expected. Similar reports came in from across Europe. In every engagement, enhanced humans fought alongside baseline resistance fighters, their coordinated efforts overwhelming Meridian defenses. But the real victory wasn't just military. As the last amplifier fell, Sandra broadcast across all frequencies to all Meridian forces. You thought your telepathic abilities made you superior. You thought your technological advantages made you invincible. But humanity doesn't just resist. We adapt. We evolve. Everything you use against us becomes part of us, makes us stronger. You aren't fighting the humans you conquered anymore. You're fighting what we're becoming. The impact was immediate and devastating. Meridian forces across Europe retreated in disarray, their confidence shattered by the realization that their supposedly inferior enemies could turn their greatest advantages against them. And in hidden bunkers and secret rooms, more resistance fighters volunteered for enhancement procedures, ready to become part of humanity's evolution. Back in the Detroit Command Center, Chen watched as the holographic map updated, showing human-controlled territory expanding. Status of the enhanced fighters. Exceeding expectations, Kane reported. The modifications are actually improving over time, adapting to each individual's needs and abilities. It's as if... He paused, wonder in his voice. It's as if humanity was always meant to take this step, as if we were just waiting for the right moment to transcend our limitations. Chen nodded, understanding perfectly. The Meridians thought they were forcing us to submit. Instead, they gave us the motivation to become something new, something more than we were. His enhanced eyes tracked movement across the tactical displays, and we're just getting started. Across the world, humanity was changing. Not just physically, through Kane's enhancements, but mentally and emotionally. The sight of enhanced humans fighting alongside ordinary resistance fighters sparked something in the species' collective consciousness, a realization that evolution wasn't just possible, but necessary. The Meridians had wanted to remake humanity in their image. Instead, they had become the catalyst for humanity to remake itself into something unprecedented, a species that could adapt and evolve in real time, turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth. As night fell over Old Detroit, Chen stood at a viewport, watching his enhanced vision track both Meridian patrols and resistance movements through the ruins. They still don't understand, he said softly. They think this is about winning or losing. But it's not. It's about becoming. And humanity is becoming something they could never have imagined. In the darkness, another group of resistance fighters prepared for enhancement procedures. Another step in humanity's evolution. Another reminder that when pushed to the brink of extinction, humans didn't just survive. They transcended, breaking the chain. The Meridian High Command's orbital platform hung above Earth like a crystalline sword, its faceted surface reflecting sunlight in patterns that seemed designed to inspire awe and fear. Inside, Supreme Commander Vextar faced a crisis unprecedented in Alliance history. Below, humanity wasn't just resisting, they were winning. The enhanced warriors, dubbed Guardians, had sparked a transformation that spread like wildfire through the supposedly conquered species. Every defeat provided humans with new technology to analyze and adapt. Every victory inspired more to join the resistance. Status report, Vextar demanded, all four arms clenched in agitation. Another facility lost in what was once called Australia, his subordinate reported. The humans, they're not just fighting anymore. They're evolving. Adapting our own technology, turning it against us. Our psychic suppression fields now strengthen their neural networks. Our crystalline armor. They've learned to shatter it with precisely modulated frequencies. In the command center beneath Old Detroit, Sandra Wells intercepted and decoded this transmission, feeding it directly to the Guardian tactical network. Commander Chen's enhanced mind processed the implications instantly. They're scared, he announced to the assembled resistance leadership. For the first time since they arrived, the Meridians are facing an enemy they can't predict or control. Time for Phase Omega. Dr. Kane looked up from his work, where he was perfecting the latest generation of human enhancements. Are you sure? If we strike at their command structure now, they'll throw everything they have at us, Shen finished. Exactly what we want. Maya, is the hidden army ready? Colonel Rodriguez nodded grimly. 10,000 enhanced fighters spread across every continent. Another 50,000 baseline resistance members armed with adapted Meridian tech. They're waiting for the signal. Chen turned to the tactical display, where Sandra's neural interfaces had mapped every Meridian command node on and above Earth. Then let's give them something worth waiting for. Sandra, initiate override protocol. Across the planet, Meridian communication systems suddenly came alive with a single broadcast. The voice of Sarah Chen, the young messenger whose death had sparked this revolution. Her final words, captured by Meridian surveillance and now turned against them, echoed through every alien facility. You can kill us, but you can't break us. Humanity doesn't bow. Humanity doesn't submit. Humanity evolves. The message repeated endlessly, a psychological weapon that struck at the very core of Meridian confidence. And in that moment of confusion, humanity struck. Enhanced resistance fighters emerged from hiding across the globe, their modified bodies and adapted alien technology letting them breach Meridian defenses before the aliens could respond. The Guardians themselves led the most critical strikes, targeting command and control centers with surgical precision. In orbit, specially modified shuttles launched from hidden bases, carrying teams of enhanced humans trained for zero-gravity combat. The Meridian orbital defenses, designed to stop conventional attacks, proved useless against warriors who could interface directly with and override their systems. Commander Chen led the assault on Vextar's command platform personally, his team moving through the crystalline corridors like ghosts. Their enhanced bodies, now evolved far beyond the original Guardian specifications, adapted in real time to every Meridian countermeasure. You don't understand what you're dealing with, Vextar snarled when Chen finally cornered him in the main command center. The Alliance spans galaxies. You can't possibly. We understand perfectly, Chen interrupted, his enhanced voice carrying harmonics that made the crystalline structure around them resonate. You thought size and technology made you invincible. You never learned the lesson Earth's history should have taught you. The most dangerous predator isn't the biggest or strongest, but the one that can adapt. The battle that followed was brief but spectacular. Vextar's ceremonial armor, powered by the latest Meridian technology, meant nothing against a human warrior who had evolved specifically to counter such advantages. When it was over, Chen stood over the fallen Supreme Commander, broadcasting on all frequencies. To all Meridian forces, your command structure is broken. Your Supreme Commander is defeated, but we're not interested in mere victory. We want understanding. Look at what humanity has become in just a few months of fighting back. Imagine what we'll become in a year. A decade. Is this really a fight you want to continue? Across Earth, Meridian forces faced a choice. Their command structure was shattered, their technological advantages neutralized, and their enemy grew stronger with each passing day. Some chose to fight on, and were systematically eliminated by enhanced human forces. Others chose surrender, and discovered that humanity's capacity for adaptation extended to diplomacy as well. In Detroit, Dr. Kane watched the tactical displays light up with surrender signals. "It's really happening," he whispered. "We're not just winning, we're transcending. The modifications, the adaptations, they're becoming permanent, hereditary. Humanity isn't just taking back Earth, we're becoming something new." Maya studied the latest reports with wonder. Enhanced humans are showing new abilities daily. Neural networks are forming spontaneously between resistance cells. It's like the Meridian invasion was a catalyst, pushing us to evolve beyond baseline humanity. Chen's voice crackled through their secure channel. That's exactly what it was. They thought they were conquering us. Instead, they created the pressure needed for humanity to take its next evolutionary step. And we're not done evolving. As the sun set on humanity's first day of renewed freedom, the changes continued. Enhanced humans found they could interface naturally with adapted Meridian technology. Neural networks expanded, linking resistance cells into a collective consciousness that maintained individual identity. Every hour brought new developments, new abilities, new potential. The Meridian Alliance had come to Earth expecting to find a species they could subjugate. Instead, they had become the catalyst for that species' transformation into something unprecedented, a humanity that could adapt and evolve in real time, turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth. They had wanted to remake humanity in their image. Instead, they had pushed humanity to remake itself into something that transcended both human and Meridian limitations. As night fell over a liberated Earth, Commander Chen stood in the orbital platform's observation deck, watching his enhanced vision track both the celebrating crowds below and the retreating Meridian ships above. "They still don't understand," he said softly. "This was never about winning or losing. It was about becoming. And humanity is becoming something the galaxy has never seen before." In the darkness of space, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if welcoming a new power to their eternal dance. Humanity was free, but more than that, humanity was evolving, and the galaxy would never be the same. Dawn of humanity. 1 year after the Meridian surrender, Earth had become something no alien species could have predicted. The crystalline towers of the occupation forces still stood, but they had been transformed, integrated into a new civilization that was neither purely human nor anything previously known to the galaxy. Commander Chen stood atop the former Meridian Command Center in Old Manhattan, his enhanced senses taking in the city below. Where ruins once stretched to the horizon, new structures grew, buildings that merged human aesthetics with adapted alien technology, their surfaces alive with neural interfaces that connected every citizen to a vast, voluntary network of shared consciousness. "Remarkable, isn't it?" Dr. Kane approached, his own enhanced form moving with the fluid grace that had become common among Earth's population. The latest estimates suggest over 80% of surviving humans have undergone some form of enhancement. And the children, he paused, wonder in his voice. The children being born now come into the world already adapted to interface with our new technology. Chen nodded, his enhanced mind simultaneously processing data from a dozen global monitoring stations. "We're not just recovering from the invasion, we're becoming something new, something that can prevent it from ever happening again." In the years since liberation, humanity's evolution had accelerated beyond anyone's predictions. The adaptations that began as military necessities had spread throughout the population, creating a society where technology and biology merged seamlessly. Neural networks allowed instant communication and sharing of knowledge, while physical enhancements let humans repair environmental damage with unprecedented speed. Sandra Wells materialized beside them, her form shifting from digital to physical as her consciousness returned from the global network. The Meridian diplomatic vessel has entered orbit. They're requesting permission to begin formal negotiations. Chen's enhanced eyes tracked the crystalline ship above. They still don't understand. They think this is about treaties and borders. What we've become is beyond that. In the chambers of the newly formed Earth Unity Council, representatives from every former nation gathered to meet the Meridian diplomats. But these weren't politicians in suits. They were enhanced humans whose very bodies reflected humanity's transformation. Some had adapted crystalline components that shifted with their emotions. Others manifested holographic interfaces that displayed their thoughts in real time. The Meridian ambassadors, entering under heavy guard, found themselves facing a humanity they barely recognized. Maya Rodriguez, now Earth's chief of defense, addressed them directly. "You came to our world believing you found a primitive species ready for conquest. Instead, you became the catalyst for our transformation. We are not interested in revenge. We are interested in understanding, and in ensuring that no species ever again makes the mistake of underestimating humanity's potential for evolution." The lead ambassador, a six-armed being named Seltho, spoke carefully. "The Alliance has never encountered anything like this. Your species' rate of adaptation is unprecedented. Some in the Council fear you may become a threat to galactic stability." Elena Petrova, her enhanced form seemingly shifting between states of matter, laughed softly. "You still think in terms of threats and powers. We've moved beyond that. Humanity isn't interested in conquest. We're interested in growth, in becoming more than we are." To demonstrate, she interfaced directly with the chamber systems, creating a holographic display of Earth's transformation. Cities rebuilt with living technology. Oceans cleaned by engineered microorganisms that merge human and Meridian DNA. Forests reground through the efforts of enhanced humans who could communicate directly with plant life. "This is what we're offering," Chen announced. "Not submission to your alliance, not war, but partnership in becoming something greater. Humanity has learned to evolve consciously, to adapt in real time to any challenge. We can teach others to do the same. The implications stunned the Meridian diplomats. They had come expecting to negotiate with a defeated species seeking terms. Instead, they found themselves facing a civilization that had transcended traditional concepts of technology and biology. In orbit, Marcus Jones led a team of enhanced humans in demonstrating humanity's new capabilities. Their bodies shifted seamlessly between physical and energy states, interfacing directly with spacecraft systems, moving through space as easily as Earth's atmosphere. The display wasn't meant to threaten, it was meant to inspire. The galaxy is changing, Chen continued. The old paradigms of conquest and submission are obsolete. Humanity has found a new path, conscious evolution, guided by wisdom and focused on growth rather than dominance. We invite the Alliance to join us on this path. As if to emphasize his words, the neural network linking Earth's population pulsed with shared purpose. Billions of enhanced minds joined in a moment of unity, their collective consciousness reaching out to touch the minds of the Meridian diplomats. Not to control or dominate, but to share, to show them a glimpse of what they could become. The effect was profound. The ambassadors, experiencing for the first time the full potential of conscious evolution, began to understand. This wasn't just a transformed humanity, this was a glimpse of the galaxy's potential future. In the days that followed, the first steps of a new relationship between species began. Meridian scientists worked alongside enhanced humans, learning the principles of adaptive evolution. Human consciousness expanded further, reaching out to the stars with new understanding and purpose. Sarah Chen's death, the spark that had ignited humanity's transformation, was commemorated in a memorial that merged human emotion with living technology. The structure responded to the thoughts of visitors, sharing memories and feelings across species barriers, turning grief into understanding and hope. Commander Chen stood before the memorial on the anniversary of humanity's liberation, his enhanced senses aware of both the physical and digital realms that now merged seamlessly on Earth. The young messenger's sacrifice had led not just to victory, but to transcendence. "We didn't just survive," he said softly, addressing both the present audience and the billions connected through the neural network. "We didn't just win, we became something new, something that can ensure no species ever faces extinction through conquest again. We became the guardians not just of humanity, but of evolution itself." Above, the stars beckoned with new promise. Humanity had taken its first steps beyond traditional existence, becoming something that could shape the very course of galactic evolution. The age of conquest was over. The age of conscious evolution had begun. And humanity, transformed by adversity into something greater than itself, would light the way forward. The end.